Welcome to AEW Dark tonight. Mickie James takes on Sarah Rowe. We'll also see Joey Janela in a hardcore match, an environment he knows so much about. And also Shawn Spears finally gets his hands on Brian Cage. Welcome everyone to another edition of AEW Dark tonight. Shawn Spears is set for a huge showdown with the Machine Brian Cage of Team Taz as he puts his Internet Championship on the line. And Joey Janela is back in action in a match type he feels most comfortable in against Matthew Justice. These two clashed back at Dynamite last week. There is some fan footage we can show you, and both men then took to social media. And also Mickie James is back in action tonight against Sarah Rowe. That should be a fun match as Mickie is determined to get well and truly back to winning ways. And that started last week with a win against Ali. Let's get on with the show. So we get a 59 here. Just your standard between Excalibur and Renee. Summing up what to expect on this episode of Dark. Should be another good one. And we do start off strong in a bout that had decent reaction for the crowd. Subpar wrestling. Mickie James defeats Sarah Rowe in 13 minutes 23. Mickie James with a 52 there. So it's another win for Mickie James as she looks to continue rising up the rankings here in AEW, looking towards maybe having a future shot at the Women's Championship title. We'll have to wait and see. Well, fan footage is then shown of both Joey Janela and Matthew Justice getting in each other's face after Dynamite. It gets heated before security have to step in and break them up. Could you just imagine these two in a hardcore match? Well, we're going to see how it turns out in the next match here on Dark. That gets a 56, just struggling to go off script, but I'm not too worried about that. You've got to go off script in some fan footage that's been taken outside the arena, haven't you? In about that had a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling is Joey Janela, the hardcore veteran that defeats Matthew Justice in a hardcore match. 8 minutes 37 after a moonsault foot stomp. Joey Janela with a 58, Matthew Justice with 37. Although Janela and Matthew Justice didn't seem to click, which made for an awkward bout. Well, that's a bit disappointing considering what happens in this next segment. After a brutal hardcore match, Janela stands with hands on his hips as he watches Justice slowly get to his feet. Janela decides to step in and give him a helping hand. Janela and Justice shake hands. Good sportsmanship is shown as they both exit the ring together. A new partnership may have formed. I'm thinking maybe a hardcore tag team. We're going to call it Janela Justice. If they don't work so well against one another, maybe they will if they team up with one another. We'll just have to wait and see. But could you imagine a hardcore tag team? No one's going to want to mess with them. Before the main event, Matt Cardona heads out towards the commentary table as he joins Excalibur and Renee. He scores a 60 for that segment. We haven't seen Matt Cardona really since he lost that internet title to Shawn Spears, so he's showing a bit more interest in it. And in about that had good heat, decent wrestling. Shawn Spears drew with Brian Cage in 14 minutes 38 following a double count out. Had to do it because I want to keep the title on Spears, but I didn't, and I kind of wanted to put the title on Brian Cage as well. But I felt now wasn't really a good time. So it ends with a double count out. These two absolutely going at it. The match getting the crowd buzzing, which is great to see on Dark. And we did get a 58. I think there's only been one occasion when I've scored a 70. And I think that was that Pentagon's match. I think that was one of the first episodes I did on Dark. After the match is rolled out to a double count out, both Spears and Cage continue to fight. It slowly works its way up the entrance ramp and towards the commentary table, of course, where Matt Cardona gets to his feet and watches on. Spears and Cage are relentless. Cage goes for a clothesline. Spears ducks as Cage follows through into Cardona. Cage takes his eyes off Spears. Bad mistake. As Cage turns around, Spears has a chair and nails it over Cage's head. Splat. Shades maybe of the chairman coming back. Spears grabs his Internet Championship and leaves as Dark comes to a close. That's got to be a good episode of Dark. Surely we're looking at a 60 for this show. Has to be. That main event carrying it and that final segment as well with Spears, Cage and Cardona. Really, really happy with the direction that this is going in with the internet title, and how successful it seems to be, how we're building it up. Hope you guys are enjoying it as well. We only got a 55. I'm not too... I was hoping for at least a 60, but 55, it's certainly a lot better than what we have received in the past for some really poor episodes of Dark. But anyway, that is going to be it for this episode of Dark. See you all in the next one.